And as we turn the compass towards Europe, an independent advisory body to the European Union is drawing up a detailed plan on how to prevent Hungary from assuming the presidency of the European Union, scheduled for the second half of 2024, according to the Daily Magyar Nemzet. The Netherlands-based Magyar's Committee, a body consisting of legal professionals that advises the EU on assessing legislative proposals, has put together a series of recommendations based on which European Parliament could prevent a member state from assuming the rotating presidency. The group of experts presented 3 different scenarios at the Joint Committee of the Committee on Civil Liberties, Justice and Home Affairs and the Committee on Constitutional Affairs, in which they outlined the possibilities of taking away or limiting the rotating presidency. As the presidency program is jointly drawn up by 3 countries succeeding each other at the head of the EU Council, in this case the incoming presidencies of Spain, Belgium and Hungary, the Magyar's Committee first proposal was that the 3 member states should agree on which country chairs which meetings, especially where rule of law issues are discussed. This proposal would effectively limit the Hungarian presidency as it is undergoing rule of law proceedings. Well, Dr. Sebastian Gorka is the host of America First on American's Salem radio network platform, the son of Hungarian immigrants, parents who fled Hungary for the UK. Sebastian went on to serve in the British Army Reserve in a military intelligence unit. And in 2017, Dr. Gorka was appointed by the White House as Deputy Assistant to the President for Strategy. And in 2020, President Donald Trump named Gorka to the National Security Education Board. Dr. Gorka has briefed the CIA, the DIA, the US Navy SEALs, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, and testified before Congress on the threat of global jihadism. He is the author of the books Defending Jihad, a national bestseller, and his latest book, Why We Fight, Defeating America's Enemies with No Apologies. And on the phone now I have Sebastian Gorka. Sebastian, welcome to Compass.
Thank you for having me, Jason.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you on the program. I really appreciate your time today. I wanted to first get your thoughts. This EU Advisory Committee detailing plans to exclude Hungary from the EU presidency. What's your take?
Well, I mean, it shouldn't surprise anybody. The crypto-communists in Brussels hate what Hungary has been doing, and the idea that a small landlocked nation at the center of Europe that believes in national sovereignty and is still clambering its way out of defeating the communists in 1990 should become the president, should take over the rotating presidency. That's an anathema to those who believe that the bureaucrats should be able to ride roughshod over the rights of the member states of the EU. So I don't know if they're going to get away with it. But they hate Viktor Orban and they hate any nation that wishes to reassert its national sovereignty. So this was inevitable. What Budapest will do in return, that is yet unforeseen.
And you point out national sovereignty, but this is in the face of rampant, unbridled globalism. And at what point does the secret of globalism finally escape and we can talk about it for what it is, a pathway perhaps to a one world government where you're not allowed to step outside of the ruling paradigm?
Well, I mean, you don't have to listen to conservatives or those who believe in national sovereignty. You just have to listen to the words of the key architects of this insanity, whether it's Karl Schwab, whether it's his chief advisor who said, enslaving people and engineering their desires is what he revels in, quote, being able to hack the will of human beings. When that's the chief advisor to the founder of the World Economic Forum, sadly, these are no longer conspiracy theories. When you see what's happening in terms of the key people saying you will own nothing and you will enjoy it, it's no longer a conspiracy theory because the main protagonists who are engineering the federalization of Europe, they've given you all the evidence they need. So when Karl Schwab entitles his book The Great Reset, when you see the leaked documents from 10 Downing Street, for example, that they say we have to use fear under COVID. We have to, engender more fear to get compliance. These are official government documents. These are official documents from the World Economic Forum. This is no longer conjecture. This is empirical evidence.
Is it therefore perhaps that these politicians are secretly on the, let's say, the globalist timetable? They don't want to see anything else?
Well, there's lots of money to be made out of it. In our country, we had a tradition, for example, of citizen statesmen. Even George Washington was offered a kingship, and he said, no, I'll serve as your president, and once my term is up, I will return to my farm. That's how politics should be. It should be a citizen who does politics for a little bit, not these professional politicians who've never done anything else. And once they fed at the trough of the taxpayer, then they get their lucrative contracts, they become lobbyists, they become heads of not-for-profits, they become secretary generals of this and that. So, that the age of the citizen politician has to be reinstated. And I like to remind people, I'm an American by choice. I was born in the UK to Hungarian parents who escaped the revolution in 1956. I like to remind, for example, my fellow Americans who are born here, there's a new trend, and it starts with Americans in 2016 choosing somebody to be president who'd never served in public office. I mean, it is quite historic that every president from Washington to Obama was a former general, senator, congressman, or governor. And for the first time in American history, we gave a very robust two fingers to the regime and said we don't want professional politicians anymore. So whether it's Nigel Farage with Brexit or whether it's Donald Trump and Make America Great Again, there is a rising tide of populism, and organizations like the EU have to try and destroy it.
So an insight that I hope that many of our listeners will be able to understand. Sebastian Gorka, thank you for your time today on Compass.
God bless. Thank you.